welcome to the 20th BOH Cameronian Arts Award on set. Today we have the nominees of costume design, styling, and makeup in dance. We have a huge group. Welcome everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Wong, Quito, Kenny, Malin, Sumathi, and Gowri. Everyone, if you had to describe the entire costume and styling concept of your production in 3 words, what would they be?
Me?
Yes?
Yeah. Fermentation.
Fermentation.
3 words.
Yes,
Yeah,
3
okay.
words.
Well, fermentation. Together. Understanding.
Fermentation, together, and understanding. Wow. Anyone else?
Okay, mine. Malaysia, individualism, and batik.
Well, ours would be aestheticness, elegance, and traditional.
Kenny?
My one is relax, comfortable, and be yourself.
Quito?
For mine, it's time, speed, and unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting. In what ways did the costume enhance or challenge the dancer movement and expression in double Punctum?
For the enhancement part is I think it's the fabric. Because the director requests that the costume, right, he wants like black and white. There's no gray. So, like black and white is a kind of boring colors on the stage, right? So when I thinking about the fabric, right, I'm using the velvet to make it shine under the light. So the velvet, when the movement of the dancer posing, right, so the fabric will showing the different kind of shades. Yeah. And
So there is movement.
Yes, of course. Because for dance, right, it's all about the movement and the body movement, right? So for the challenges, I think, because I'm using too many the stretchable fabric. Yeah, it's like different panels on his body. So I need to figure out how the fabric grain line goes. So these kind of challenges, for me.
Well, this is a restage, right?
Yeah.
Did you did any changes to the costume this time round?
Actually, Kokman, the director, he say like the first time for the show, they don't have any costume designer. Yeah, so the dancer just bring their own clothes and they mix and match together. But this time, the restage, he want to like make it bigger. I mean, like everything. So he just got me for the costume design part. So this is the first time I do the restage.
I see, but you have to look through what they had before?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I can't recall, because all I remember is, it's the same costume, but it's not, yeah?
It's black. The before is like totally black, but this time it's black and white. Yeah.
Okay. What was the creation process for the piece created by Late Love for Aman Yap? Kenny?
Pardon?
What was the creation process for the...
Actually, like Aman, he want to do this kind of thing. Actually, at the very beginning, he don't have any concept, He just say, I want to be myself. Okay, so I need to find a way how to use the costume very simply, and then he want to make him very comfortable. When he on stage or what, he want to be him. So only him. So I need to find a way how to sculpture his body because he's very thin. So I need to let him like more bulky a little bit, not so slim. Yeah, because he's too slim on stage.
How did you do that?
So I layering the costume.
Well, I know that this piece is actually depict different stages of his life. Did you have that challenge? Do you actually tap into that to do your creation as well?
Yeah, I have.
Can you elaborate?
How to say, the third piece, actually the pants is very long. So I need to cut it down. Because Aman got few times like he stepped on the pants and then suddenly on stage so we totally cut into like few inch lah. And then this is a common the dancer will face this kind of
dancer
problem.
will always want
this one too long. Because the pants is long, it's very nice, and then it's more airy, flowy. Yeah, but when they are on stage, we need to change everything.
Yeah.
So Malin, how
Yes.
did the hands costume in a handmade tales, the dance symbolize the transformation from very dull laborer to rebellious dreamer?
Yes, this is actually one of the questions that I had in my thought during the creative process, because it's not as easy to portray that in the costume. But okay, I will share two perspectives, from the designer perspective and also from the audience perspective. From the designer perspective, I try to portray, like for example, we have this tight-fitting bodysuits for the hands. Okay, it's quite whimsical actually. The elements that I try to put in is the half-egg shape on each hand, and also the base is all yellow for hands. This is to myself to portray that they share the same routine. Okay, and then when things started to shift, that's where the asymmetrical design came in. So I intentionally designed the costume uneven, unbalanced. Like ada satu baju like no lengan.
The feather come here, the feather come there.
Yeah, the feather is one is on the left, one is on the right. So I try to play with that symbolism, hopefully to portray that in the costume. However, in the perspective of the audience, I know it's difficult to capture that. So in the perspective of the audience, I believe that the transformation of the hands is truly shown by the dance itself. Because we don't have many costume change for the dancers. It's only one costume for each dancers throughout the show. So hopefully that capture.
Well, as an audience, I really enjoy and I like that you use Leow Tiam and then the colorful one and that the different shade, different character for the role, and then and the movement they can all move, and we love to see all this dancer body, the able body, they're all ballet body anyway, to move around, and with the feathers and all that, it actually enhanced different character for me. So overall, it was very, very well done. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
So nothing to worry about, I think. Well, that's my perspective. I don't know what others are thinking. But that was well done.
Thank you.
Good. For you two, can you share any historical or cultural inspiration that deeply or influenced the styling choice in Pragati?
Yeah, we actually, the traditional, I mean, if you're looking at it, the traditional costume, Odissi costume it was in dhoti style. That means they took a sari and they tied it into a dhoti style. And then, of course, women wore a blouse and then they had
I'm an Odissi dancer. So
yeah, so, they had the davani or a shawl to cover their body a little bit. So, but it's just that it is, to tie the costume for so many dancers, it's very time consuming. So we decided, because from the 1950s or 60s, the late Sanjita Panigrahi, she had shifted on to stitch costumes. And we in the Temple of Finance were always tying dhoti costume until very recently. So we decided, since we have so many people, and for both of us to tie for each of them is going to be very time consuming. So we went for stitched costume. And we stitched it the traditional way of, maintaining the pleats which comes from the side. So it still looks traditional, at the same time it was stitched. So it was easy to put on. And so dancers could quickly change by themselves and we didn't need help. So that's...
Don't the dancer actually wear their own sari or costume?
No, I mean, as in we actually stitch it from them, all the way from India. We stitch it for them. So according to their size and... so that it's fitted very well. Because in Odissi costume, you have to fit it very well. Because it's not loose, like how you say, the pants, you can trip over it. So everything has to be very tailor-made to their body. Because we have pleats, there are running pleats. So, and in Odissi, the stance is where you have to sit low. So if the pleats are not to their ankle size, then they will be definitely tripping and falling down as well. So these are the few things, And I think this, and I think this traditional, it also gives them a very lifted sense in their body when they wear it and all that. And for the structure of Odissi, the nature of Odissi dance, this costume, the way it's designed, it brings up the flair of the Odissi as well. So what we do is basically we work with a lot of colors and fabrics to enhance sometimes the thematically. We go, if the item is very thematic, then we go according to
I
the
realized
colors.
the color was very
Yes,
synergized.
yes.
you
So
know,
if it's like, because we have religious elements inside, sometimes we take a particular god, and that particular god has certain color themes. So we go by. And I think in Pragati too, we worked our even our choreography with color themes.
Yeah. That means when we did
Yeah.
the patterning,
We did with a lot of color
kept it
themes in mind.
That, certain dancers were in this pattern and certain dancers in this group. So keeping that in mind, we did the patterning. So there was a lot of work on it
Yeah,
because
so
we had to be
it's,
aware that, this group is in this color and this group is in this color, so that there was no clash of
Yeah,
dances.
so that was
But
a
it came
that
out
was a
well.
challenge.
Yeah.
To
Let's
trying
hear
to
from
work.
Ix. Was there a particular element or moment that exceed your expectation in costume design for Kaka-Lala?
Oh, I see a lot of moment of it.
Because Kaka-Lala, they also do dual thing, like one is an urban, one is
Yes, correct,
yeah,
correct,
and go
correct.
back to rural, to nature.
Yeah, first come to me because it talk about these two things coming together. So what actually we understanding of these two nature, we always say urban people might be to like give up on the kind of thing and become like too praise to the rural kind of thing like this. So how actually we can balance these two things up together. So that's why I come in out the concept of fermentating, because it's not about right or wrong, but understand two situations, because these two situations they grow us. So in the whole creating process, I mean, how we come in together, because for me as a performer also, I'm not just only a costume, I'm not a professional trained costume designer, but I like to play together with what I can understand. How can I bring my dance in the costume? How can my costume there's a dance and bring together with the performer.
But as a dancer, you will know how you want your body to move,
Yes,
and how
correct.
you want the people to perceive the movement as well, right? That's a benefit, isn't it?
And there's some benefit in it because we can have, for me, being dancing, crossing a line, different discipline. So you have the chance to actually, maybe I can play with it in a different way. It might be a flaw, it might be actually uncomfortable, but how we play together. So how actually I'm created this piece together. I bring the previous piece I had before. So I just said, okay, I don't know how to essentially choreograph with you. How about I wear this costume, I dance for you to have a look together.
Wow!
So that actually we're creating the work together. So it's simultaneously creating something that we play together. So how the process of like fermentating, how to actually to have like incubating, something like that. In something that is every moment it become surprise for me. Even the material I use old because this old is from bundle shop. Or they actually upcycling everything. So my team, I always like to do the money is like it's so much like material outside. I mean, we use clothes, everything like that in bundle shop and cheap. But workmanship is very expensive because when you work on that, you have to have a lot of like skill or something to put it up. Why you want to use that? Even not just anyhow put things. So you can see my the costume I bring in more element of structure or something to somehow bending a bit. So maybe make it the costume can dance. How to make a costume dance?
When you
And
say element of structure, I noticed that in the urban half of it, you actually have some sort of wire thing going on in the costume that they have.
Yeah.
They give movement. I
Yes.
felt like there's a lot of speedy movement going on.
Yeah.
So how did you actually interpret that on the second half when it's more supposed to be more relaxed?
from the urban, because always becomes a certain kind of like timing keep going. So force it into a very rigid or kind of really tense kind of thing. But nature is opposite. It softens you down because you can't really fight nature in a certain way. You have to be together with it. If not, you will be lost in nature. You'll be sort of like dying. But that's why the whole process of how we learn about this, what we learn from the urban and one from the rural. There's nothing right or wrong about it, but we're learning from each other.
Now I would like to ask everyone, who would you like to collaborate with in the near future?
For me, I feel I would love to challenge myself to work with more dancers. Only because in the past experience, I've made costumes for musicals and theatre show. But for dance show, it's a bit different from musicals and theatre. I love the abstractness, the concept, the idea behind the intentions of the dance performance. For me, I would love to
I think
collaborate.
it's because for me, we are doing dance, also are doing costume.
Yes.
Maybe because of our dance, we are dancer, understand our body, so the contact with the costume is much more closer.
Yes.
So it become like we are working together more tight.
I would love to also learn that.
Yeah.
I didn't have much experience working with dancers' costumes because I know it's very much different. The fabric is different, the durability, the stretchiness, also the aesthetics that we are looking for. So it's tricky sometimes to combine different materials. You have the vision, but sometimes the material is so hard to get or so hard to achieve that vision. So I would love to challenge myself.
Yeah, what about you, Quito? Because you are a fashion designer, right? And you also do costume. And how does that blend in? Like when you, I remember you did for theatre as well. You also do dance work for dance costume. Who would you like to work with? Yeah, now.
Sorry, I can't imagine anyone, but
There
because
must
I
be.
did, sorry,
There must be.
I don't know because I did costume for hands percussion before and dance before and theater before. Instead of saying like a person, how about saying like
In the organization, actually.
or a field, a different field.
Film.
No, not film. I mean like a different field.
A different field.
Yeah, maybe like more like a fashion way. Yeah, because costume is costume, fashion is fashion, so it's kind of different.
Yes.
Can you, since you say that, can you differentiate that for us?
Yeah,
What
of
is
course.
fashion and what is costume?
Yes, there's a lot to talk about because costume is all more about the character, right? So then certain movement. Fashion is more about they have a concept. Okay, maybe this collection is about the flower, about the nature, or about the cyberpunk or something like that. But they don't really have a character inside it. So when we design a costume, right, we have to think about the character. We have to think about the life of the character. So for me, because when I'm secondary school, I'm joining the theatre club. So I have a kind of firm basic about how to create a character for a costume, something like that. So it's so much different. So it's not, I'm not saying that like fashion design is like a very basic or like easy to design. No, it's totally different. But when you need to understand the character and then the life of the character, the flow, somehow you probably know more about the character than the actor themselves. Yeah. That's what I'm told to my student because I did teach about costume design in some colleges. So yeah.
It means like fashion is more like connecting from the outside world, but somehow fashion. Costume is more like connect back to the inside world of the character.
But actually, some of the designer they got their idea from inner world also. Like maybe a psycho. Their thing is about psycho. They think about sadness or something like that. Blue, moody. Also got. But the difference is a collection. They design the clothes, right? Like maybe they have like 50 set clothes. Only have just because of one team. But we design the costume for the character, right? We design different kind of white, the styling, but they need to look harmony on the stage. Yeah, I think this is the hardest part. Yeah, because
How about
collection.
Gowri and Sumathi? Do you want to work
I-
beyond
I-
fine arts?
Yeah, definitely. Get an opportunity, the tradition with a modern or a contemporary, definitely. But I personally like very much Kandyan dances from Sri Lanka. Kandyan dances, Sri Lanka. So their movements are beautiful and their attire is quite very modernized actually. It's completely different from a traditional aspect. So, hoping one day there some kind of collaboration comes. That is one. And of course,
Find that opportunity. Yes.
Yes.
That's all you can do, right?
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
What about you, Kenny? Because I know I've never seen you actually design anything outside of door space, right?
No, actually
Yes,
no. This
yes.
is my first time.
Yes, this is the
My
first time I
first
see you
time,
do
first
as
A costume designer. Yeah, this is first time, and then I got a more like I wish I can do like 3D printing or different kind of not the fabric. I think the materials. I don't know that's possible or not because this one costs a lot of expensive. Yeah. And then, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe this one can more. Help me to design in more different way lah, more creative way, and then maybe the LED, but I don't want the simple, the cheap one LED. I want the costume can change all the time. Maybe one costume LED street can fulfill the whole piece of the dance.
Wow.
It sounded
this
like
one-
Kenny's already, taken the vibe that he wants to explore more costume design now.
Yeah.
As a dancer.
Yeah, as a dancer, actually I'm a dancer. Yeah, that's why I want to let dancer more comfortable and more easy to present yourself on stage. Yeah.
Okay, that's all we have today. Thank you again to all the nominees for joining us. Thank you, you guys, for joining us. I will see you next time.